All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the LA Soccer Hub Show. My name is Gio Garcia. Today is Monday, April 26th, a day after Chicharito scored a hat trick. He had Dignity Health Sports Park rocking. It was an exciting time if you were there. If you're one of the lucky fans, about 6,000 fans or so were there. It was an awesome atmosphere, and today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the victory. And here joining me today, we got Katia Castorena from ESPN. Katia, how you doing?
Hi, Gio. Hi, Damian. All good. So I'm very happy to be back to be talking about what happened this weekend with the LA teams. And like you mentioned, the LA Galaxy and Chicharito being the star of Sunday's game. And overall, just with that hat trick and the way he's been performing with 5 goals after 2 games with the Galaxy this season.
Yeah, and we also got Damian. Damian, welcome to the show. How you been?
Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to talking about Chicharito. We're calling this Chicharito season.
So we definitely are. We definitely are.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. Let's go.
So yeah, no, it's been exciting, right? So like I said, it was an exciting time. But I want to talk about the atmosphere when the game started, because to me, I don't know about you guys, but it completely felt different. Like just being at the stadium with fans. And then just a lot of the unknowns still, right? We saw what Chicharito did in the first game, but there was also a lot of things of like, will he score again? Is he proven to score again? And obviously, it was an exciting time. But Damian, what did you think of the experience at Dignity Health Sports Park?
It sort of felt like old times. I know it was only, I guess they announced it as 6,800 plus, but it felt like old times. Fans were there cheering and chanting all game. It sounded a lot louder than just 6,800 people there. So it felt good to see the fans back there, and finally for them to see the team that they hadn't seen on the field in LA really since last March.
Yeah, Katia, how did you feel about the experience being back there at Dignity Health Sports Park?
Yeah, it was awesome. Like Damian was just saying, it felt like old times, and it's such an important element and a part of the game. Just having the fans there, it just makes all the difference. When we'd be at the stadium before during the pandemic and just, I don't know, the silence, it felt like a scrimmage at times, even though it was the regular season going on. So just having that element of the cheers, the energy, the fans being there, just loud and enjoying the game. It's just part of that atmosphere is just so great.
Yeah, and another thing that was also interesting, right? We saw the Victoria block, right? The supporter section. Obviously, it was limited, but they were loud. They were a lot louder than you expected, because they didn't have the full capacity. But you start to see how passionate, right, the Victoria block is really going to be, and how the atmosphere really changes. And Chicharito scoring that first goal on that side just made it even better. Just for him to show off to the fans, and the fans chanting his name, that must have been a great feeling. What did you think about that, Damian?
Yeah, I mean, back to the whole empty crowd thing. I sort of enjoyed that last year.
You did?
Because it was weird, because at some points you can hear the guys talking, like
true.
Watch the run and all that stuff, and then you can watch them. You can hear them, when they mess up, you can hear them curse. Like, oh, we messed up. So it was a little. I mean, that was okay, but yeah, if I had to if I had to pick one, Sunday with fans is totally better. Yeah, the Victoria block was loud. They were when I pulled up, they were. They were walking around. You saw fans like getting ready for the game. Yeah, it was fun to have them back.
Yeah, and I think they also had an ice cream truck. I don't know if you guys saw that. I was walking into the stadium, and they had like an ice cream truck, welcoming fans back to the stadium. They had music and stuff. So to me, I was like, dang, this is like the old times. You can feel the vibe, you can feel the energy just walking into the stadium now that there were actually fans there.
We're tailgating, so
yeah, tailgating too. What did you think about the tailgating?
It was good. Like we mentioned, just seeing the fans enjoying before the game, and kind of like, prepping and leading up, that excitement leading up to the moment of the actual match. So that was good. I mean, I agree with Damian. There were some positives when there were no fans in the stadium, like job wise or work wise, that we could hear certain things and the way like the players talk to each other, or like even like, I don't know, the directions that the coaches are giving them, or like to specific players. So those were definitely some positives. Also, like getting to the stadium just fast with no traffic, things like that. But overall, you just, that atmosphere is just part of the game, and it's so special. And just seeing that was pretty cool. Also, a lot of the fans were wearing the new retro jerseys, or even like the old ones, like the OG original versions. So that was also very nice to, I don't know, just add up to all of this excitement around the game. The team having its home debut and just being back there at Dignity Health Sports Park. So it just made it special. And then if we get into what happened like in the actual game with the win and all of the factors around it, so it just made it even better.
Yeah, and you talk about the Galaxy Community Kit. I actually saw a Christian Pavone Galaxy Community Kit jersey. I saw one person wear it, so I was like, okay, that's either going to be something down in the history books, or or something. But it's like, you get to see like fans wear that, and how it looked different because of the color green. But at the same time, you're like, it gave it a little swag, because that jersey is really clean and really nice. And obviously, the mix in different colors. I think that's what's exciting about this season for the LA Galaxy, because you have the history. You have the history with Greg Vanney. You guys have the history with the team, and they wear these jerseys. And by far, with them playing these two with the green jerseys, they're undefeated. So if you're the LA Galaxy, you gotta look into. I don't know if you're into like conspiracies or anything like that, but I mean, they should keep rocking the green until they lose. What do you think about the jerseys, Damian?
Yeah, you're right. But I was told that they're going to wear them a lot. I don't know what a lot means, but 32 more games left in the regular season. I don't know. Maybe they're going to wear them, 20 more times, but who knows? But yeah, the fans love the kit. We saw when it was released. The passion and the fever or the rush to everybody to get one. So you would think they would wear it, almost make that like their primary kit for the season.
Yeah, no, it definitely has a lot of style, a lot of swagger to it. But let's talk about the game. Obviously, an exciting game, right? Just fireworks. First time Chicharito was back with fans, and he definitely put on a show, right? Like he scoring 3 goals. Enough said. He ended up winning Player of the Week this week again. But I want to talk about Greg Vanney. Let's talk about Greg Vanney and the job he did here. Katia, what do you think? What have you learned from Greg Vanney, and what did you think how he produced this LA Galaxy get the victory today? Or excuse me, Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the season, we knew, or at least I talked about it, that I feel one of the greatest things that the Galaxy did in the offseason was hiring Greg Vanney as the coach. We saw what he did in Toronto, and we knew that the kind of coach that he is, the player that he was, but now what he established with Toronto and the championships that they got, actually had a chance to go there and cover one of their CONCACAF Champions League legs against Club America when I was in Mexico City. So I remember just being impressed. It was like the first time that I had that approach to the culture that they had created there, and just hearing him talk during press conferences and getting to see a little bit of training and the way he would go about things. And I was like positively impressed with the way they were working there, that mentality, just work ethic, everything. And I always thought when they hired and announced that Greg Vanney was the LA Galaxy's new coach, that it was just a great move from the team to kind of like establish that culture and go back to the roots and go back to what this team had done before, and that they were in such need of feeling that again. And now it's just the results so far in the season is just backing up all of that, and the work that they've been doing for the past couple months, when they got to work during the preseason. So it's been great to kind of like seeing up close what they've been doing, and now it's materializing in the games, the way also that he has to adjust in all of those tactical situations, and the changes whenever he has had to sub guys, and they just them responding on the field.
Yeah, no, it's been a definitely changed. Damian, you've obviously been covering this team for a number of years now. What are your overall impressions after 2 games with Greg Vanney?
Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to vote him coach of the year. It's almost been everybody. I mean, he came in talking about culture, something the team has lacked. I mean, for years. And I think it was O'Neal Fisher who said a couple of weeks ago that everybody's bought in. And Victor Vasquez said, if Greg wants me to start, he wants me off the bench, I'll do whatever he wants. We really haven't heard that from the Galaxy players in years, probably since when Bruce was there, really. Everybody's bought in. You have young guys he's given chances to get on the field, something we haven't seen really, I don't know, man, since ever, really. I mean, teenagers are getting chances to get on the field and make their name and to hold a spot. So 2 games in, I know it's only 2 games, but they're on the right track, and we'll just see how he keeps integrating the new additions and just how things go on from on. But they're on the right track, and it was probably the best move they made in the offseason, really.
Yeah, definitely right. To start off, with two back-to-back victories and the way they've won it, and we see, you even seen some of the behind the clips, right, from Greg Vanney, how he talks to the team and some of the things the players have said, like completely different change, and just the atmosphere seems a lot more just like relaxed but focused. You know what I'm saying? Is just so amazing how like less than a year this team is turned into like a completely different team, and everybody's bought in, like you said, and another point that you made is the young guys, right? Like Adam Saldana is getting playing time, players are starting, right? And it shows that this is a different breed for the LA Galaxy, because all we've known from the LA Galaxy for the last number of years, they typically like to have veteran players. But I like this mix. Some of the international players that Greg Vanney is bringing. Obviously we're yet to still see Kevin Cabral. But they made that investment. I think you and I were talking about that beforehand. That 5-year deal. That's something we've never seen from the LA Galaxy. He's going to be the youngest EP ever, right? 21 years old, and we've yet to see him. But if it's anything of what we've seen from Greg Vanney, we can almost assume that it's going to be a good signing. But one of the good signings or great signings that they made this offseason, Katia, was Jorge Villafana. He had an amazing game. He had I think it was like that breakaway steal that led to Chicharito's first goal. What did you think about Jorge Villafana last night?
He had a great performance. He's obviously a veteran in the league. He's won a championship with the Timbers, also a championship in Mexico. He knows his way around the MLS. He's definitely a great addition for the team in terms of leadership, passing it on to the new guys that you were mentioning that are also just growing with the team. So that was great. And the fact that right now he's still improving, and he's still not just learning Greg Vanney's system, but he said it after the game, learning and adding stuff to his game that Vanney is asking. Sometimes if he has to, play more towards the middle and as a third center back, or like help the team in that projection forward, kind of like what we saw yesterday, in the sense of, pressing, getting that ball back, and just, setting it up for Zubak then to go forward and get that first goal with Chicharito. I don't know, just like seeing another side also of Jorge Villafana as a more versatile player that not just can help the team forward, but also and that defensive side that's been lacking for the team in the past seasons. I think it's been good to see.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of different things just in these 2 games from Jorge Villafana, and we're starting to see how versatile he really is, right? He's a veteran in the MLS. What were your overall thoughts, Damian?
On Villafana himself, I thought when I heard they signed him, I was debating was this move, was he a better option than who's the guy here last year?
Insua.
Yeah.
I felt the same way.
Yeah, but watching him and then watching how he played in Portland, this seems to be a better fit. He gets forward. That's probably another one. Probably for me, another way he's shaping out so far. Probably another one of those top one of those key pickups that they made. And like you say, adjusting. I mean, one thing Greg has done, he's made some really key tactical moves these first few games, and Villafaña's performance really proved it yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's amazing because I was with you because in Sua, I felt like, obviously 2020 was a bad season for the LA Galaxy. No secrets there, but I felt like, at times he was one of the positives on the defensive end. But at the same time, I think when you have a new coach coming in, I think Jorge Villafaña might have been a Greg Vanney signing. I'm not too sure, but I think he talked about, that was one of the first players that he was interested in signing. But everything, like I said, everything he's done, and we start to see Jorge Villafaña, right? He actually played for Chivas USA. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but he's played at at the stadium before. But it's different, right? When you play for the LA Galaxy, right? And the history that comes. Obviously, he's from Southern California. He had family in the stands. That makes it so much more, right? Someone you just want to show out for your family, and unexpectedly, that's what we saw from him, right? That we saw him show out. Do a lot of the little things that may or may not show up in the stats, but it definitely showed up and, impressed us and definitely impressed you guys. And there's so many things that Greg Vanney has done. Another player that I want to talk about is Victor Vasquez. He had an amazing game. He had an assist to Chicharito. It looks like him and Chicharito are starting to roll. They're starting to define each other. He's trying to sense where their movements are. Obviously, it's only 2 games in. But Katia, what did you think of Victor Vasquez's performance last night?
Yeah, just a quick note. I remember Villafaña was a product of that reality TV show format, MLS Rising Stars, and that's when he won that and got that break with Chivas USA when he was just like 17 years old, and his brother was.
I remember that show growing up.
Well, yeah, Victor Vasquez. Wow. I mean, no wonder they have such a trust and belief in each other, meaning Greg Vanney and Victor Vasquez. I had a chance to see Victor Vasquez when he went to Mexico to play for Cruz Azul. That didn't go well, but also, like he's mentioned before, he didn't feel bad protected or like he didn't receive maybe the help that he wanted from the club because it was a difficult transition from him being in Europe and then just going into this new league and a new city. And then the high altitude, many factors that were very difficult for him that he couldn't fully adapt to what they wanted of him with Cruz Azul. Then he goes to Toronto and just it was a major hit there with Vanney and his style of play. They win the treble. They just win practically everything that season. And it was a great breakthrough for him in MLS. The way he just found that understanding with Giovinco and Josie Altidore. And it's kind of what they wanted of him here now back in MLS with the LA Galaxy, getting that connection and that understanding with Chicharito, with Samuel Grandsir, and the players in that third of the field and going forward. And Victor Vasquez said it from the beginning, it's going to be very easy to just play with Chicharito and just to understand each other because I know my capabilities. I've had a ton of experience now in the soccer world and I've seen Chicharito as well, and I know I'll understand his runs, and he has that touch, that vision, reading the plays, knowing where the forwards are going, and then just getting them the ball, those precise just like centers and those precise balls.
I think we're losing you on the audio. On the audio, I don't know if we're losing you a little bit on the audio, Katia. It just keeps like cracking. So I don't know if sometimes you may have to push them back in, or I don't know. Was it cracking for you too, Damian?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. A little bit. But with that said, we have
keep on going, and then I'll see if I can fix it.
Okay. No, with that, Damian, what were your overall thoughts on Victor Vasquez? And I'm gonna pull up a comment we have. Okay, the chat says we hear you well. But what were your overall thoughts about Victor Vasquez, Damian?
You know what? I think I had a little bit of reservation when they signed him because we know, the time that he when he left Toronto, he didn't really find playing time really. But I know in his first conference call with us, he said that he felt the same as he did when he was with Toronto. And I think yesterday he had a good game in Miami, but yesterday you can see, his movements, the balls he was playing in. Even he almost had to go when he made the late run on the cross by Julian Araujo there. And he knows what Greg wants, and that's Greg's guy, really.
Mm-hmm.
They know each other because of their time in Toronto, and it's just good to have a guy like that who knows what Greg wants and can pass that information on and that experience on to everybody.
Yeah. Well, Enrique Gutierrez, thank you for letting us. He said we hear her well, so it might just be on my end. I just heard a little cracking, but thank you. And just quickly, Jose says, in my humble opinion, Greg Vanney deserves a lot of credit in the moment. Galaxy is so far. The Sounders game will be a good test to see where this team is. Greetings, great show. Thank you, Jose. He's an avid listener. I agree with that. I mean, obviously the Sounders game is going to be a great test, but obviously we don't want to get into that just yet. But I think, when you see what Victor Vasquez has done, I saw a lot of people on Twitter. I don't know who tweeted this out, but I was like, it was something along the lines of like, whatever we paid for Victor Vasquez was well worth it, because a lot of people were unsure, they're like, oh, his age and this and that. 2 games in, and you're like, this dude could probably play 90 minutes. This guy is solid.
I get it that there were reservations because of his age, the fact that he hadn't played much of 2020, his last professional game was like around September or so. I don't quite remember, but he didn't play much during the 2020 season. So of course there were some reservations like, how's he going to be, or what level is he going to show with the Galaxy physically, and how is he? But Greg Vanney said it as well. Like, he talked not just to Victor with that good relationship that they have, but he also talked to people close to him, people that were training with him during that time that he wasn't really playing for a club. So of course the team did their research in terms of where the player was at right now, and so far it's giving them the results that they were hoping for.
Yeah, I'm laughing because Andy, our great friend Andy Dio, says like, "Did y'all talk about the halftime cookies yet?" Not yet. Hey, but those cookies in the media room were delicious. Did you guys happen to grab one?
I grabbed 2, but I gave one away.
You gave one away? Nice. I just got one. I was like, I'm trying to get into the summer bod, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cheat and get one.
Funny for everybody that just don't know, so they give out cookies at the game during halftime. I actually have mine here still. It's in
Show
my bag.
it.
I'll go get it.
Okay.
I was gonna make myself some tea, and I was like, and I'll have my cookie, and then I just didn't before. So maybe after the podcast, now that we're talking about it, I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, those halftime cookies. So the media room is definitely set up differently for people here and watching. Obviously, we'll get some food, and then at halftime, usually there'd be like coffee and snacks, but because of COVID and everything, they have the cookies wrapped up. There you go. Look, solid. Maybe we're gonna have you take a bite, and tell the viewers how it tastes.
Now, yeah, because of COVID, they're like individually wrapped, and it's not like before that they were just like there on a tray for everybody, and we get everything just individually wrapped, but still good.
Yeah. So thank you, Andy, for that. Mike Jones says, "What's up?" So obviously, like I said, it was an exciting game. Let's talk about Chicharito. Man, he put on a show, and it was definitely something. I was more curious about going into this game, like what type of game Chicharito was going to have. Right? I was like, okay, he has to score. He talked about that he had a depth to pay to the LA Galaxy. And what better way to pay that off? Starting to pay that off, right? By scoring and doing what he did yesterday. Damian, give us your overall thoughts on Chicharito's performance yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it was classic Chicharito, the guy we watched, all these years with all these other teams. One thing that's always fascinated me with him are his runs. I brought that up to him in the post-game press conference. You can watch the first goal. The ball looked like it's going out of bounds. He comes out of nowhere, boom, and gets it. The second goal, I mean, great ball out from the wing, and he's there takes it down, puts it in. And then the third goal, he's just, he made that run to the back post, and he's just waiting there. Something might happen. You never know, man. It happened, and there he is. 5 goals, 2 games. I don't. It's probably unfair to us to put a number on what we think he can score, but 5 through 2, you got to think he can. That might be looking at a big number here.
Yeah, I was saying 15 before the start of the season. I was saying more than 15. Now I feel like that's too low because he has 5 goals in 2 games. But we have the goal here. I just want to play the goal. So
Chicharito's in front of him. Granzier on the far side. Zubak taking that one himself. Took a deflection. Chicharito scores. He caught up to the loose ball. It's 3 goals in 2 games.
Obviously, the goal and you're talking about the run. It just makes it seem that, like, last season, obviously that wouldn't have been a goal for Chicharito, but this season it definitely was. But I think one of the things that that also what was exciting is, like, he's having fun. He's doing his celebrations. He's doing the Drake or the Antoine Griezmann, and it's a thing now, right? So, what did you think of his performance, Katia?
Yeah, it's a great performance. It's what's given him success, like you were mentioning, in his career. And we're seeing that version of him again, enjoying the game, having fun, feeling that support from his teammates, from his coach. That style of play, I feel that it benefits him as well, because that's where Chicharito can be most effective, those opportunistic goals, because one of the things that he's really good at, and he's a very smart player, are those runs, like you mentioned. Also, those movements in the box, because he's not just a player that's gonna like create so many chances for himself and like dribble. He has to be there in the box, and then he's very smart, and he'll take advantage of those balls when they're there, or running to the far post. All of those little things that we've seen from him that have given him success, and the fact that he is at a good place as well, and at an emotional level, and like mental level, physical, all of these components that are so important as well. And he's talked about it, that sometimes are overlooked. They're also just a person, a human being that go through ups and downs and have difficult moments. 2020 was a difficult moment for various reasons, and then like an emotional level, and then also in terms of the injuries, and he wasn't at his best, and he didn't fully adapt to the new league, to the team. There were just so many little things, and that's why he's put in the work in the off season. I was just so intrigued, and I asked him about that after the game, when he mentioned that he has a team of people of around 10 people with him, in terms of a nutritionist, personal trainer, just coach, and a specialized team also in terms of analyzing data and statistics for like prior to the game and after each game, and all of these little things that just definitely make a difference, and we're seeing it now on the field because he's putting the work, and now we're seeing all of the results of just that hard work that he's putting in, because he said it, like, he's in the best shape ever, like in his career, because of all of these things and all of these steps that now he's taking. And he knows that he's gonna turn 33 years old, and also he's not 22 anymore. He's like, oh, I wished I was like this when I was 22. But he's being smart also, taking all of those steps, thinking for just the longevity of his career, and just being at his best.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, right? That you see is different, right? He's 100% bought in. But I think I still see some fans on social media that are kind of feeling, they're like, oh, it's only 2 games in. But everything Katia just mentioned, right? Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, it's all there. Damian, are you 100% bought into Chicharito?
Yeah. I mean, we all saw the work he put in on it, this offseason through his Instagram. And talking to him, he seems to be in a better place, like Katia said, mentally, physically as well. And I mean, a lot of people, I mean, they can say it's only 2 games. It is only 2 games, but we didn't see this guy last year. And the Galaxy keep him fresh, keep him healthy. I think he's headed for a big season.
Yeah, on top of that, right? Scoring goals is scoring goals, right? 5 goals in 2 games. You can't tell me that he's not doing some damage. And the way he's scoring them, that is vintage Chicharito. That's how he made his name. That's how he made his money. And we're seeing that. And I think, for the people that are not bought in just yet, I mean, like, you got to think about it. At least the way I think about it, it's like, people just don't score 5 goals in 2 games, and they haven't been easy opponents at the same time. And every goal, he's earned every single goal. He's earned every single goal and what he's been able to do. And I just want to play the second goal, because I really liked how he moved, how the pass from from Victor Vasquez.
Villafaña, another. Vasquez kept that in play, hooking it in. Chicharito got between the center backs, and Chicharito scores 4 goals in 2 games. The flag does come up. At the end of the play, the call from TJ Zablocki is that Chicharito was offside. Now the play finished, so a video review can show it's a clear and obvious error. Chicharito seems to think the goal will count.
Yeah,
So I mean, you see it, right? And then he megged the goalkeeper, and just to see, how it came from Victor Vasquez. He found him. Chicharito got that first touch, and put in there with his left. It's like, this is how he's making his money. And also credit to Greg Vanney to understand, like, hey, which pieces do I need to bring in here to get the best out of Chicharito? And now, to me, I feel like there's no excuses for this LA Galaxy if they continue this way to make some damage later down the season. Right, if everybody's healthy. And at the same time, like we said earlier, Kevin Cabral is not even here. They're still missing one DP that is gonna. I feel like it's gonna elevate things, right? And they're still having a couple other pieces come in. But I mean, you got to think, like, 2 games in, 5 goals. I feel like the sky's the limit for LA Galaxy and Chicharito. But what do you think of him scoring a hat trick, Katia? Like, him scoring a hat trick at Dignity Health Sports Park, him showing the fans, like, hey, my bad, but let me show out. Let me perform to you. What did you make of that?
It was a very special day for Chicharito in that sense. Yes, for the hat trick, the 4th one in his career, both for country and club, even though he said he has like a 5th one in there that he had when he played Manchester United, but they didn't want to count the 2nd goal. For any forward, of course, scoring goals it's very special, and also when it's a hat trick, even more so. And just the fact that, like you mentioned, that it was at Dignity Health Park, the fact that the fans were present after the 2020 season that was very disappointing, and it was just this moment of reconciliation with the fans, with the LA Galaxy. Just getting that standing ovation when he was subbed out was, I think, very special as well. Just hearing everybody chanting his name, saying Chicharito for just any player after difficult moments, and just getting to have that high. It was very special, with also the work that we mentioned that he's putting in, and just having those just reaping what he sowed. It was just like very, very special. And like you said, that many fans haven't like completely bought in. Well, that's Chicharito, and that has always been his career. And there are many that are still skeptical, and he's a very polarizing figure. But I mean, he just keeps on doing what he's been doing.
Yeah, Damian, I'm gonna ask you a tough question. I know it's only 2 games in, and there's another player across the street. But is Chicharito the best show in town right now?
Right now, yeah. I mean, because Carlos Vela got subbed out in 20 minutes the other day. It was like,
I know.
I mean, come on. Right now, Chicharito is the best show in town.
I know, and it's maybe something LAFC fans don't want to hear, but this is definitely something. Obviously, I don't forget Carlos Vela's greatness and what he's done right with LAFC. You don't forget that, but unfortunately, he hasn't played, for injuries and all that. But Chicharito's putting on a show. Like, I have a feeling if after this game, if we're 100% capacity, I feel like the stadium would be sold out. Like everybody would want to go to the game, not just because Chicharito, but they haven't been to a game in over a year, right? So whenever that happens, what is it, like June, July? I don't know when that's going to happen in California, but whenever that happens, I have a feeling that the stadium is going to be sold out every single game. If Chicharito and the LA Galaxy obviously continue this run, because it's going to be a hot ticket. And then 2 weeks from now, you got the LA Galaxy coming. I mean LAFC coming into town, El Trafico, and then I did see. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did see some LAFC gear and like merch. Some people wearing hats at the stadium. Did you guys spot that?
I didn't see that.
I didn't.
I did. I was surprised. I saw a guy wearing an LAFC hat. I don't know if it was Andy. I don't know if is Andy still here, but like I think some of them might have gotten kicked out because I think I saw Andy tweet out that or their people were giving them they're telling them stuff, and I was just like, hey man, it's not LAFC's game, but you're coming out, you're wearing if you're an LAFC fan, I don't know, maybe not wear a hat when you guys aren't facing each other. That's my recommendation, but hey, but I did see that. I think Andy ended up tweeting that out. But obviously moving forward, right? They have another tough game, maybe their toughest opponent yet, and they also travel on the road. They're going to face the Seattle Sounders, who I think is still the team to beat in the Western Conference, right? We've seen what they've done the last couple of years. We see what Brian Schmitzer and right Nicolas Ladero and all the whole crew that they have down there. They're a tough team to beat when it comes to playoff time. Obviously, they tied against LAFC this past weekend. It was 1-1, but it's a tough opponent. How do you see this game shaping out for the LA Galaxy, Katia?
Yeah, definitely. They're going to have 2 back-to-back games that are a measuring stick for sure, because I see those teams going deep, in that run in the Western Conference. So it's going to be good to see, the LA Galaxy now go first against the Seattle Sounders in that away atmosphere. That's always tricky, going up to Seattle and the turf and all of that, especially Sounders just being one of the most successful teams in the past years, and then they'll have the rivalry against LAFC. So Bella better step it up, because everyone's just going to be waiting for finally that clash between Chicharito and Vela. And Chicharito now is just having a great run, like we've been talking about. And with Seattle, we have to see if Nicolas Ladero is going to be able to be back, because he hasn't played with Seattle so far, but it's a team that has already created something special with Brian Schmetzer, a style of play and a ideology, veteran players that just know what to do. Raul Ruiz, that is just a killer in the box. So it's definitely going to be a good test for them.
Yeah, how do you see this, Damian? Obviously, we know Seattle Sounders are a never easy team. They're always a tough team to beat. But how do you see this shaping out for the LA Galaxy? They got to travel up north and play up there.
Yeah, like Katia was saying, you're going on turf for the first time. It's a Seattle team without Jordan Morris. He suffered an injury when he was away with Swansea City, but they opened up with a 4-0 win over Minnesota United. So Schmetzer just does a great job. And he's plugging. He plugs in veterans and homegrown kids, and he just gets the most out of that group. He's been there a while. It's always a tough task when you're dealing with a team coached by Brian Schmetzer. It's going to be a tough showing, but as the Galaxy start playing more Western, when they get to their Western Conference schedule from here on out, now you got to watch how our teams are going to defend Chicharito. I mean, that's always everybody wants to do the same thing to keep him from scoring. So how does Seattle sort of mark him? So we'll see how it plays out here.
Yeah, and that's interesting because they played against LAFC. I think the first 2 games they played with five in the back line. They pay, and that's interesting how LA Galaxy potentially switch up things. We've seen, Greg Vanney go to a 4-4-2. He did that in the first game against Miami, and I think it's definitely gonna be a game of tactics, right? With this team, obviously the turf, the ball runs a lot faster. And, it runs a lot faster. The game's a lot different over there. But I'm very interested to see how, they go up to Seattle. If they ever, if they come up with points, do they get another W? To get a tie? do they get the first loss, right? There's a lot of things that can happen, but I think one of the things that I want to see is how these players grow. Do we see the same thing out of Villafania again? Do we see the same thing of Victor Vasquez that we've been seeing the first two games and the ball movement, everything? Just do we see the same thing? From Jonah Araujo to have the cross. For the third goal for the LA Galaxy. I think that's one of the things that we want to see and how the midfield plays. Obviously, they're still going to be with Sebastian Lletget because of a suspension. But there's a lot of moving parts. But I think there's also a lot of opportunities and a lot of growth. And I think this is a time where you're going to be like, okay, everybody's going to want to be tuned in because I believe the game's around, I think, at 6:00. So this is a game everybody's going to want to tune in, right, and see what the Galaxy are made of in the third game, because everything so far has been impressive. To get 6 points, they're the only team right now to get 6 points, all right, and the way they're doing it. What are your thoughts of them? I think ESPN had them number one in the power rankings, right, the power rankings. But what did you make of them getting 6 points and being ranked number one, Katia?
Sorry, I lost you a little bit.
I was saying, what do you make of the LA Galaxy getting 6 points, and also being ranked number one in the ESPN Power Rankings?
Yes, I mean, I heard the stat after the game that they hadn't had started the season of 6 points since 2010. That's pretty impressive. It goes back to what we were talking about, that this team had struggled to find that culture again, and we've been hearing that over and over. So just think about it. 11 years without starting a season like this, a perfect season with 2 games and 6 points, 2 wins out of those 2 games. I mean, it's pretty great, and it just talks about that work and what they're creating right now with Greg Vanney, with the team. I've been very intrigued by the fact that every single player has mentioned the word family. So when they just refer to the team, refer to the group, and talk about just how they feel right now, as part of the LA Galaxy, they're just describing it as a family. We're a family. We're playing more music. We get to be ourselves. We're just enjoying the game, and that, of course, it's a reflection. What's happening within. It's a reflection of what we're seeing on the field, and it's been very, very special, and it's going to be great to just see it develop.
Yeah, no, and that's a thing that's a big thing, right? That we've seen with them, and they've talked about that. What do you make about that point that Katia just said about how it feels more of a family for the LA Galaxy? Because I think it might have been Villafania, he says, or I forgot who it was, but they were talking or it might have been Ethan Subak, but he was talking about the relationship off the field is just so much better from last year. The thing we talk about, things of being outside the field. And I think that kind of caught me by surprise, because I was like, well, what did you guys do last year? Obviously it's COVID, but hey, let's go here. Let's go have some food. But what do you make of the LA Galaxy feeling more like a family?
Yeah, it's not the first time I've heard that, them say family a lot, and brothers as well. It makes you think. I mean, we all know when Zlatan was here how divided things were, in the locker room and on the field. But last year first year he wasn't around, and everything was never easy last year. But maybe now you get a fresh face, coaching staff. I mean, Vanney's back. Kevin Hartman and Dan Couchman, former Galaxy guys there. And guys are just, I guess, more relaxed now. I don't know. It's just weird how, of course, Vanney's made a lot of changes, brought in a lot of guys, but some of those players are still here, and it's night and day, really, the way things are right now. So
it just makes you wonder, if they were got Vanney sooner or whatever, right? Obviously we can't play into that, but it just makes you really wonder, what was really going on the last couple of seasons with Guillermo and a couple of things, because even the first, I think it was the first couple of seasons that he was there, the first season was there, he did have a Zlatan, and I think they made it to the playoffs, but to say that, this is the first, for Jonah Dos Santos, he's been for the club, 4 years, 5 years, maybe 4 years, it's for him to say like this is the first time I felt like, you know, we're together and we're a family and stuff like that. It makes you like, dang, like I understand in pro when you're pro sports is different, but I was just like, that kind of caught me off guard that he was like, yeah, we're playing music. I was like, what did you guys do before? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like did you guys not play music or what was it? Because you know, you're used to people like in locker rooms around different sports, right? People playing music and stuff, but I guess that's something I never caught on before COVID times. Andy has another comment here. He says, Vanny with Zlatan would have been a headache. or there could have been really good winners. I don't know. Like, you know, they got, I mean, Zlatan did a lot, but we don't need to go back down that path. But I think anything Greg Vanny does, it is amazing. And if you guys been able to catch some of those, you know, post-game conversations and, you know, what he says to the team, it's just like, it makes me feel like I want to play for that guy. Like, you know, like he's like calm, he's chill, but he's so straight to the point. Like,
you're inspired.
Yeah, you're inspired because it's not like, I don't know, it's just like, it's so smooth. And you know, when we talk to him in the media and we ask him questions, you know, I think you asked him about you know, about like Chicharito's third goal with Victor Vasquez, and he was just talking about like, you know, Chicharito knows that if Victor goes to the front post, he you know, that's what a good forward does. He goes to the back, and you know, just the way he talks and explains us to us. So far, he's been very transparent, and I think it's like a breath of fresh air, at least for me. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean, going from Bruce to Kurt Onalfo to Ziggy Smith to Guillermo, this is like, man, this is heaven right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's open. I mean, he's open. And also one thing I didn't mention: did anybody else get the feeling that he wasn't really, not say pleased, but satisfied with the performance yesterday? Really, he sort of had a tone of, you know what, we did what we had to do, and we got the points and got out of here. But I think he wasn't pleased with how the game sort of broke down. You know, I guess he was concerned with possession. Probably in the second half there.
Yeah, he didn't seem as happy like he did after the Miami game. If you think about it, like you were down twice and then you came back from that, and it was special. Here, the fact that you ended up suffering, yes, they added 10 minutes. That was crazy, but then, or like at the end, almost 12, who knows? But the fact that you just had to be watching the minutes tick down and then just being worried about that because they got those defensive, I guess, desatenciones. I forgot the word in English, but they just made some mistakes that led to that New York second goal that made them, you know, suffer a little bit towards the end. So he clearly saw some things that he didn't fully like, but like we're saying, it's just 2 games into the season, and it's always going to be better to correct and to work when you have those 6 points in the bag than when you're losing and then just stress starts piling up.
Yeah, no, now that you mentioned it, Damian, I do think back when obviously I think the first goal that they gave up, I think it was such a bad possession play for them, because I don't recall. I think Ethan Zubak might have missed the ball, or he didn't go for the ball. I forgot which of the two things that happened, and then they get scored on. And then I think he also mentioned about the grass. He talked about the grass, how, you know, he talked about how the New York Rebels tend to press up, and if the ball doesn't get to you, and if the grass is dry, the ball tends to, like, he was explaining it, tends to not go as fast. You know, I'm just paraphrasing here. You know, saying that was some of the reasons that, you know, that the Red Bulls were able to do some of the counterattack things and stuff. But you know, that you make, I mean, that to me just tell me that this guy wants to win, you know, 3-0. He doesn't want to give the other team anything, you know. And Jonathan Bond, you know, he got scored on twice, but to start the game off, he got rocked, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna get up from this, because the way he got rocked, and then you're just like, I was like, man, keepers are just built different. And then he had that acrobatic save too, that like he dove, and it was just amazing. You know, I think, you know, if you look back at the game, there's a couple plays that you could be like, okay, maybe you could be better here and stuff. But I think those are things that you definitely want to clean up as a coach. And just quickly, I have the Chicharito third goal. I just want to play it here.
To win championships. There's Araujo who started the sequence. His cross in, flying through his Vasquez. Chicharito! The acrobatics! The hat trick!
I had it. I was trying to get it up, but it wasn't working. But I just wanted to play. I think the thing that's so interesting about him scoring the hat trick is he did it in like 77 minutes. Or I forgot when he got subbed out. And I think that another thing is like, imagine if you would have been able to play the full 90 minutes, he might have had another opportunity to potentially score there. But I know we talked, I think Katia, you asked him about his injuries or about the injuries, and he just talked about the soreness. That's not something I really picked up, but people were telling me
he
that's what
started
they were
cramping
saying.
up, and they just wanted to. Yeah, he started cramping up, so they just wanted to be safe.
Yeah, and I think another thing is too, like Jonathan Dos Santos is, I think the one thing about Jonathan Dos Santos, he hasn't played a full 90 minutes yet. Obviously, we know his history with his injuries, but he had a great game. How do you feel about Jonathan Dos Santos so far, Damian?
They got to do their best to protect him. I mean, do you want him to go 90 now and not have him, in September and October? I'd rather, if you can get him safely through a game, 75, 80 minutes, take it, because he's going to affect the midfield. As you can tell, when he went off, the game sort of stretched there in the second half. I think it was back and forth like an old high school game there, just back and forth wild soccer there. But having him in that middle, you got to have him there this year. I mean, we saw last year he was off and on, he was injured, and you just got to protect him. I didn't think an injury was that serious because he stayed around the sideline when he was talking to the training staff. If you remember last year when he got injured, he just limped off the field and back up to the locker room. So got to keep him fresh, got to keep him healthy. He's another big piece to this team. Yeah, no, you make a great point. All right, what did you guys make of the 10 added minutes, the 10 extra minutes? Because I thought that was wild. Like, to play 10 minutes, I was like, oh, okay, I know there was like injuries, there was time stoppage, but I was like, okay, maybe 5, maybe 6, but 10 minutes, and it was a wild 10 minutes. 10 minutes probably felt like an hour for Galaxy fans. Katia, what did you make of that?
It was crazy. I couldn't believe. I'm like 10 minutes. I get it that when they go to the VAR, and also because there were a lot of substitutions that you add those minutes at the end, but 10 really? I feel like 5, 6 tops, would have been okay. When I saw that they put on the clock, 10 minutes, what was that? Oh well, but I did feel like it was way too much.
Yeah, Andy says 10 felt like half an hour. What did you make of that, Damian?
Yeah, 10 was a lot. I mean, I thought maybe 6, maybe 7. But the crazy thing was when he got to like 99 and then Zubac went down. And I'm thinking, like 2 or 3 more minutes. You're going to be here all day. It was wild. I didn't think 10 minutes, but, the Galaxy, I mean, you got to think back, too. There was a play there when Fisher.
We almost got a full extra time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when Fisher got tangled up with Frankie Amaya there late.
Oh, it could have been a penalty. Yeah, so you're right.
The whole game could have changed there, like the 98th minute or whatever. So that was wild. Yeah, no, the thing about that was like, I was like, I think what I also learned about the Galaxy, Jonathan Dos Santos was not on the field. Chicharito was not on the field, right? I think we saw Cameron Dunbar. I think Edith Zubac went to play up top. We saw even Araujo was chasing players up top. O'Neal Fisher came in. Efrain Alvarez came in. So we got to see that the LA Galaxy were able to close this game out with some of the young studs, like we talked about earlier. But what do you make of this team being able to do that with Efrain Alvarez, with O'Neal Fisher, and the way they're able to move this team, move the pieces around?
Closing out the game is definitely important, especially the way everything happened and with the stop time that we've been mentioning. Also, before I forget, I'm glad that you brought up earlier Jonathan Bond, and we haven't mentioned him much. And I know he hasn't been as tested. I mean, he has in a few situations, and he's responded well. But I feel like he was also a great addition to the team. And down the line, just having that security that he's brought so far is just going to be great, moving ahead into the season. I feel like we're going to see more of him. And I think he already is helping in the sense of just having more structure in the whole defensive unit and what he can do. Just when you have a goalie that just transmits that security, it's just a game changer.
Yeah, no, that makes interesting. What are your thoughts on quickly, Damian, on Jonathan Bond and what he's done these first few games?
Yeah, they've certainly improved themselves. The goalkeeper position, like Katia said, and also one thing, he's making saves and he's talking to the media, so that's already improvement.
Yeah. No, you're right. And like you said, it feels good, right?
Yeah, because goalkeepers see the game differently than everybody else, and you want to get inside their mind a little bit, see how they see the game. And so far he's been well forthcoming, talking to the media and everything, and he's making big saves.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's been impressive so far. And just to wrap things up, I'm going to play this video. I think the Galaxy just released this video, but this is the post-game footage of Greg Vanney talking to the team right after they won.
Hey, listen, it was always going to be a little fuzzy. That's just the way they do things. And today, unlike many days, I will say the only thing that matters to say is there's only one team in MLS that has 6 points, and it's you guys. A lot of work to do, but those 6 points are come dedication, character, pride, getting after it. 90 minutes, that's where those came from. And we continue to get better. We continue to work on what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go. But because of the character and the work rate in this group, you have 6 points. So congratulations for that, and we keep going. Okay? Well done!
I mean, the LA Galaxy just have to do a behind the scenes, series. I don't know what Time Warner's doing. They're slacking. I know this is the last year of the contract, but this is like gold content. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're not going to do something with Time Warner, like Galaxy, then this needs to be like a 30-minute episode, like 30-minute show from what we're seeing. Because I know it's a minute, but I don't know how you guys feel, but I need to see 30 minutes to an hour of that. How do you feel about that, Katia? Katia, you there, or did we lose you?
Oh no, I'm here. It's amazing to see. You feel inspired as well, and the fact that he just gives the recognition to the group, to the players, the fact that they've been working hard, they've earned those 6 points, and I think it's just very special because, like we mentioned, as individual athletes in this case, they just feel valued and they feel that they have that recognition from their coach, and then they're also seeing it on the field. It just makes it all better.
Yeah, Damian, how do you feel about that? Do we deserve 30 minutes, or should we just keep getting these 1 or 2 minute clips that keep wanting us we want more?
Yeah, I mean those clips are pretty cool. That takes the fan inside the locker rooms. Since media can't be in the locker room, at least right now. But yeah, I mean that's something to me. Maybe put a mic on them. I mean, I know Fox does their halftime or whatever, first half, second half interviews. But yeah, they have pretty good. The Galaxy has a good social team there. They can come up with something there.
Yeah, no, they're doing good. And quickly, just to wrap things out, Andy says, "Wow, laugh out loud, wow, Bingham shade." We never brought the name up. I don't know if that was Damian. Go ahead.
Never said his name.
Okay, there we go. Damian responded. So Andy, and then Andres Torres says, "Respect, chicha Dios." And then Galaxy Guy Podcast, he says, "Great to see Damian and Katia on your show tonight, Gio. We love what you're putting out there, brother. I appreciate it, man." But guys, that's been we've been here for a little bit, about an hour. I want to thank you guys for being on. If there's anything else, I don't know if you guys want to talk about anything else, but I think we kind of touched on almost everything. But Katia, let the people know where they can follow you. What? Go ahead. What was that?
About the Super League?
Oh, the Super League.
Nah, forget it.
I don't know if we want to touch that. That was they
no.
lit a candle and it was gone. It was gone as fast as it came up, man.
Nah, forget it.
No, we don't need to touch that. I actually had a Sophie, and she had the whole week she had been talking about the Super League and this and that, and I was like, "Don't worry, we're talking about LA Galaxy." But yeah, we're glad that's over.
Yeah, Victor Vasquez said that was disrespectful, but we're not going to talk about that. Well, thank you. It's been great being here. Yeah, I don't want to touch on that, but you can follow me at Katia Castorena, my name. Like you're seeing it here on screen. I forgot to add the @ here, but that's pretty much my handle for everything.
Yeah, Damian, obviously let the people know where they can follow you, where they can reach you at.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Damian Calhoun, first name and then last name, Calhoun. And also LA Daily News, SoCal News Group, covering soccer here in Southern California.
Yeah. Guys, quickly, Mike Jones says LA Galaxy or Backstage LA Galaxy. Exactly. That's what they need to do. Guys, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to give this a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your music. And, every Monday night, we're doing live streams. We have great guests, great reporters that they're inside the beat of the LA Galaxy. So if you guys want to join us, those that are listening to the podcast, you guys want to join us, comment, get involved, interact with us. We'd love to have you every Monday night. Around 7 o'clock, we're talking LA Galaxy. And if you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Gio Garcia LA. Make sure to follow us on everything LA Soccer Hub, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're putting the content out there, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoying it. So for Katia and Damian, this is Gio. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.